Okay, congratulations to the spelling bee winners. Believe me, I understand their plight. My children and I understand what it's like to be them each time we write our name on a piece of paper. The coins, I handed out one a couple weeks ago, and I want to talk a little bit about this teacher. I gave my first coin to Mrs. Engler. None of my children have ever had her for a teacher, but going back to when Tammy was attending Agua Dulce about 9 years ago, and continuing on to her career at Meadowlark, the one thing that I've noticed about her in passing, I'd never even really talked to her at all, but each time that she was around children, I noticed that she was very calm. The children were very calm. I never heard her raise her voice towards any of the children, but yet they all seemed to be happy around her and well behaved. And I came to the conclusion very quickly that the way she conducts herself as a teacher promotes respect by teaching respect. And I wish that I had a means of taking the thousands of students that she has taught and tracking their careers now as adults, and I'm sure you would find an unlimited sea of success that began with being one of Mrs. Engler's students. So thanks, press, for catching that bit there. There's charter submittals coming in. I need to catch up and find out how many of them, because it seems like some of them are dropping off the face of the earth. I don't know if there's negotiations going on or guidance going on in the background, but I'll talk to staff on that. I do want you to know that as the clerk in the past, I'm known when it comes time for DSA sign-offs. I will call DSA. I will ask to see the certificates I signed off on the high school, and so anything that comes through as a board clerk, I'm not putting my name to something that's not DSA approved. Okay, Larry, I had a promise for this one. There's still ongoing talk about the findings of the audit. Has been some talk about the credit cards. I'm not a believer that anyone that enters into education, especially in finance administration, it comes in the door with either born with the skill set to know automatically that you don't make credit card purchases with educational funds and not turn in receipts or turn in fictitious mileage reports. I want to make sure that everyone understands that I've asked Mr. King before, and I'll ask him once again, to your knowledge, is there anyone on your administrative team that makes purchases with credit cards and doesn't provide the proper documentation?
There is not.
Along those lines, do you know of anyone that turns in fictitious reports for mileage?
I do not.
And I don't think that, and what I'm asking you is about, since you've been here, that's not been a practice.
It has. I will clarify this on a...
Perfect. So I want that very clear. I don't have that stain on my t-shirt, and I never will, okay? That doesn't happen under my watch. I have zero tolerance for that. I work for a very progressive agency that has something called the Human Relations Commission, and they focus on homelessness and cultural diversity and awareness and things like that. So sometimes I wonder if action starts when someone walks in and says, I'm going to hurt myself. I think that you know well enough that I think what's historically been the group of kids that are known as the Title I kids, the kid that can't talk, the kid that is an English learner, the kid that is socio-economically challenged, the kid that might be made fun of. I hope you guys in your efforts are looking for those kids to find them early, so rather than trying to do corrective work and finding mental health assistance when it's too late, that your role as a counselor becomes a life coach when they're walking out the door. Kendra said to tell you hello and said you did a wonderful job. So I just wanted you to know that. I have a comment. I'm hoping that when we're going through these restructurings of jobs and things, that the job descriptions are very clear about what types of credentials, what types of training, what the role is, and all that is clearly defined, so we don't have any misconceptions about what's required, because special ed is a very dangerous place to make mistakes.
And that comment is perfect, because in March, we will bring to the board in closed session a job description, a job title, and a salary for you to review prior to us posting. The board will approve the description, the title, and the salary in public at the following board meeting before we post.
I see so many places where that particular job ties into to what you guys do and how it supports the sites and everything else. So, thank you. I'd like to thank Lillian for printing. Most of the paper was actually that document, so the community had an opportunity to look through it, and it was thorough. And thank you, Lillian. To be continued.
A third of it.
I noticed that at the end, but yeah.
I'll be printing the rest of it in the next couple of weeks. I couldn't do it this week because I got other stuff.
Thank you. It makes it available to the community, and especially now when there's stuff going on, especially in the news, people can see that there is a plan. So thank you for making that available to the community. Comment, I think that the facilities maintenance plan, I'm an ops guy at work, and I like to know, you know, what effort do we have, how much of our facilities is this type of configuration, that type of configuration, what our basic maintenance staffing, full-time equivalents look like. And I think that kind of informs the projects list, because it's easy for us to sit up here and say, do this, and then meanwhile somebody in the background has to prioritize, and then that always affects somebody's pet project. But as far as Tim's thing, my suggestion would be that you put that out until both of these are covered, because my first question about rebranding when it comes to things like the gym floor and stuff, I'm not the type at work to replace a playground surface when I know that the playground equipment is going to need to be replaced 3 years later, so I've wasted $600,000. So some of the issues that we will flush out in this are going to feed your type of things, and when it comes to repainting things and floors and things like that, I think it'll drop right in. So I like the thought process of how this all feeds each other in a numeric or linear process, so thanks.